A discussion that seeks to bolster South Africa's position as an emerging market of choice, laying out various challenges that must be confronted in order to make the country a more attractive investment destination.
Our major problem has been growth. The size of the debt or deficit is not important. The capacity of the economy to service such a debt. So our economy is not growing fast. You can see between what we have said in our budget review, you see a slide which deals with the both growth and interest differentials. Growth is going a different way, interests are going in a different way, which suggests that the capacity of the economy to service the growing debt service cost is becoming a challenge. So we've got to contain that. But we need, on the other hand, to achieve growth.
He pointed to key areas of focus to achieve that goal: managing the electricity crisis, improving logistics in order to get goods to market efficiently, addressing the crime epidemic, improving the capacity of the state to perform, and link to that government investment. As fiscal stability becomes a big priority for Treasury, with the country's debt to GDP ratio expected to reach 77% by 2025-2026.
We first and foremost have focused on curtailing expenditure, on curtailing the whole range of measures which are intended to curtail this expenditure. We make the point, for instance, that we've got to contain the wage bill. And among other things is voluntary severance package, is to manage national attrition. There's some institutions there which are dealing with this thing. The interesting figures, they've said the national attrition in government is about 70,000 employees per annum. So you manage the wage bill, reorganize how government work, and reorganize institutions.
While the governor of the Reserve Bank explained that the country's monetary policy was anchored in an inflation-targeting framework that gives the central bank the flexibility to recalibrate its tools in order to get inflation back to target.
You have got a society that has become intolerant of inflation. But why has the society become intolerant of inflation? If you look at South Africa's headline inflation, it has risen up a bit now to 5.4. Not a train smash. We are still within target. We would like it to go towards 4.5. If you look at South Africans in this room, their inflation rate is actually standing at about 4.8 at most. The poor South Africans who are in decile 1, those poor South Africans, they are facing inflation of just over 9%. I guess by now you get the drift. Any developmental strategy that would suggest that you must tolerate high inflation is anti-poor. And this central bank is determined to protect the income of the poor.
Asked about the bank's current thinking on continued interest rate hikes in a global environment of disinflation, Kganyago offered a pragmatic approach.
And when people ask, on what basis did you justify the hiking? And one of the things I have learned in this job is that English is more important than economics. So you check the central banks, the advanced economic central banks, they talked about keeping rates high for longer. Now they are saying higher for longer. Some of them are saying higher for long. And that is a central bank. What does that reflect? It reflects the uncertainty that the central banks are facing at the moment. And so you have to constantly look at these risks and say what we could actually do. And bring us back to our previous decision. What is clear is that the current persistent levels of inflation cannot be dealt with by monetary policy alone. And one of the things that comes is that fiscal is going to have to play the party and come to the party.
The two-day conference concludes later Friday. Shervin Brycefies, SABC News, New York.